All right, howdy folks. So today I got my 54-inch John Deere plow for my tractor out here. What we're going to be doing today is, don't mind my garage here, but what we're going to be doing here is replacing this steel blade with this. It's like a composite, almost like a plastic type material. And we're also going to be extending, let's see, this is from Heavy Hitch, and then we're going to be adding these Artillian wings to the ends of the plow. So that's being a here, let me spin this around. So being a 54-inch plow, even though it's wider than the tractor is technically 48 inches wide, okay? But when you pivot this left or right in front of the tractor, it's a narrower stance than the tractor. So that's the reason for the Artillian expanders here. That's going to turn the width of the plow from 54 inches to 66 inches, I believe. So it's going to, overhang roughly, looks like, I don't know, 5-6 inches on each side, something like that. So what we have to do, and I don't know if I'm going to film every step, but we got to take all these bolts out here, nuts and bolts. These are just pan heads, and then this will remove here. I was just losing my train of thought there for a second, but this blade will remove. This is metal. So another reason why I'm doing this is because when you do turn the blade from flat to angled, the front edge bites into the driveway, and we have new driveways here. I don't want to be carving them up. So this metal edge is not forgiving at all. This will not mark the driveway. So, and it's much thicker. And what I like about this, and I think you could do that, oh no, not with the plow edge, the steel edge, but with this one, when this wears, you can flip it over. So you got two edges to go. And then I think it'll take me a long time to wear that down, but we'll find out. So we're gonna go ahead and just take these bolts out quick and get this started. All right, so I got them all off except one. So right now this is binding a little bit. So I took the weight off of this side with a 4x4, and you can see this is just dangling. So this side I'll have to lift a little bit, and I'll have to do this with two hands though. All right, so once I lifted this end and took the weight off, this came right out. So you can see, I mean, this is a nice piece of steel. It's definitely a nice, looks like about 1/4 inch steel. And you can see the little bit of wear that's on the blade just from the little bit of usage that we did do. So we'll save this, hold on to it, but we're gonna get the other piece on. All right, so all I did here was, I got this end, since I don't want to scratch the crap out of this paint, because this is like abrasive, I just put this board under here before. It's a piece of pine trim. But on this side, so I propped it up with basically a 4x4, but it's just two different pieces. So I got this end off the sawhorse, and this side has the 4x4. So I can take this in and out. So just to show you, you could see that all these holes, they're slotted, but they line up perfectly with all these holes here. So I'm gonna loosely put in all of them except for the two outer ones, because I gotta make sure that I have long enough bolts, because once this thickness of this is on here too, that means I might not have a long enough bolt for it. So I didn't open up the hardware that they actually gave me yet, but I'll let you know in a minute. This is the original bolt that came off the plow, and then this is from Heavy Hitch, where I bought the blade from. So they did give me long enough bolts to replace this, but I do not have a long enough carriage bolt for the end here. It's not going to be, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be long enough. Also with the Artillian, they did not, I don't see, they might have gave me a couple long enough. I'm not quite sure. That's the same, but it looks like there might be, I gotta open it up, but there is a couple longer ones in there, so I might have everything I need. All right, you can see I'm using my trusty Craftsman junk wrench set here and socket set, but just to show you, I'm reusing the little Ziploc bag that Heavy Hitch gave me, and these are the original carriage bolts and nuts. I'm gonna save these for future projects. These are great stainless steel. All right, so I basically have it mounted, but I only have a couple of these nuts snugged. The rest of them are still loose, just in case I gotta move it, even though I do have it centered on here from right to left. So now we're gonna go ahead and line up the first side of the extension here, and you gotta kind of like stick it in here, and then I gotta mark the holes and drill the holes. All right, so I just used this dead blow hammer to get this into place. You could see that you had to drive this inside here. This bottom hole pretty much lines up, so I'm going to get the bolt in that. And then this, I just bent this under so it goes under this flap here. I'll make sure this is straight, and I'll mark these holes real quick. Actually, I'm gonna drill them while this is on here. That makes more sense to me. So I'll run a pilot hole through, which is a smaller drill bit, and then I'll open it up with a bigger drill bit, and then we'll get our bolts in there. All right, so I'm actually pretty happy with the hardware that Artillian gave me. They gave me 8 of these hex head nuts, or I'm sorry, bolts. They gave me 2 carriage bolts shorter. That's if I was going to put this on with the existing steel blade, but they also supplied these 2 longer ones for the extra thickness of the cutting edge and the wing. So now we also got 20 of these large washers, which for some reason they're doubling them up, and I'm thinking just because they're going to sink into the rubber eventually. They gave me 10 lock washers, which are nice, 10 of these small washers, and then 10 of this middle-sized washer. So you're gonna have 2 of these together, 1 of these, and 1 of these. Let's see, let me make sure. All right, so this smallest washer is gonna go, let me get this. It's going to go on the hex head bolt. The medium washer and the 2 doubled up washers are going to go on this side, and then your lock nut right there, just to show you. So I had it right. I was just getting ahead of myself there. So these small ones go on the hex head, the medium size, and the large ones go on the rubber side of the extension. Now this carriage head bolt does not get a washer on this side, because you can see the square right there that fits in the slot underneath here. All right, so that square fits in that slot right there. All right, so as you can see, I gave that a little push, a little persuasion with the dead blow hammer there. All right, I think I'm in the slot there. I'll double check. But now I'm just going to put on 2 of these washers, this washer, and I'm just going to get this nut caught. So I'm not going to tighten it down. I just don't want it to get out of position here. So that's that for now. Sorry, I just hit the video off for some reason. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to make sure that this is square with with this. I have this little square here. I'm going to keep that square, well, I don't know if I could use it that way, so I might have to flip it. Let's see. Let's get this dead blow out of there. All right, so that'll work. That'll keep it square. So I'm just going to use this to square it up. It's got to be pushed out just a smidge, and then I'll start drilling holes. I just got to drill 4 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 on the other side. All right, so this is all square. I need to drill the first hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this center punch. For those of you who don't know what a center punch is, now this one's been ground down a little bit for other purposes, but a center punch is you take this and you get it in the very center of the hole, and then you tap the top here with a hammer, and you make a hole there, or not a hole, but a mark. So what's going to happen is when you put your pilot drill, your smaller drill, the drill's not going to walk. What I mean by walking is, if you can imagine, this is the drill tip. When you're starting your pilot hole, you don't want the drill bit to be, moving anywhere inside this hole. You want it to go down in the center, very center of the hole. So once that pilot hole is through, then you're going to go through with a bigger hole. That pilot hole is going to keep your bigger drill aligned to this hole. All right, you got that? All right, just so you could see the mark in the center of that hole. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and get my pilot drill and drill that out. Okay, that's hole number 1. You can see that goes right through. All right, there's hole number 2. Let's see if a bolt fits. On this one, I put 1 small washer right here. Okay, and look at that. Now I just need my washers. All right, so I got 2 doubled up large washers. I'm gonna try and do this without knocking the bolt through. And we're just gonna get this caught. I might need 2 hands. Yep, I need 2 hands. So you get the gist, hold on. All right, so that's the gist of it. So it's just coming up through the front of the plow and drill through and get your hardware on. So we're gonna drill from this one, then we're gonna do this one and so forth. And we'll do the same, we'll repeat the process on the other side. The reason I'm doing that is because I want this to lay flat. You don't want to do this one and then this top one and all of a sudden you got an extra bulge here or something. Nah, you wanna lay this and keep it going in that direction. It'll be a neater install. But I'm gonna get some of these done and then we'll get back to you. All right, so this is one side installed. I do not have these tightened down yet. I'm gonna wait until I get both sides on. That way I make sure my cutting edge is still centered. I think it is, but we'll double check. But this is basically it. So when we go to cinch these down, we'll have to hold the head of the bolt on the bottom with a wrench and then cinch these down with the socket ratchet. You could use an impact tool. I'm just using my set. I don't feel like getting everything out. I don't mind doing the extra, taking the extra time. But that's pretty nice. I mean, here, this is basically the edge, the original edge here. So you're adding that much. It says it claims it goes out to 66 inches. Pretty good. Let's get the other side done. All right, so I got everything assembled, tightened down. That's all tight. This was the hardest one. These 2 end ones were the hardest ones because the carriage square part is not deep enough. So I had to actually hold the heads with a vice grip until I got it down enough. And it's only going into rubber, so you didn't have to hold it too bad. But I mean, it could have been worse. But everything is tight. All these are tight. And that's the finished product right there. So it's starting to rain on me, so I got done in the nick of time. So that's a wrap. We'll obviously show you more footage once this gets installed on the tractor. We didn't even put the snowblower on yet. All right, so here's a finished look from the front. I just flipped it over. Again, it's starting to rain, so I'm gonna make this quick, but just so you could see. Came out nice, looks good. Looks good. Hopefully well, I'm not wishing for any snow, but this is good for the, the wet snow that's not real thick, not, heavy inches or anything like that, real deep. We'll use the blower for that, but small storms, wet snow, this is perfect. I have no problem dragging this across the driveway now with this different cutting edge on here. Thanks for watching.